Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe to the Knockout Legend. This channel tells complete Muhammad Ali stories. Not just fights, but the unseen moments where danger came quietly, and survival depended on awareness rather than force. By the time Muhammad Ali sat down at that table, he was accustomed to risk. Not the kind that comes with fists in crowds, the quieter kind, the kind that arrives without warning, wearing politeness like a disguise. The setting was controlled. Too controlled. A private dinner arranged after a long day. Invitations handled through intermediaries, the guest list tight, the atmosphere meant to feel relaxed. Ali hadn't insisted on attending. He'd been encouraged. That detail would matter later. The restaurant wasn't public-facing in the usual sense. No signage out front. No foot traffic. Just a quiet space reserved for people who didn't like attention. Ali arrived without fanfare, accompanied by two men from his inner circle. Not bodyguards in the theatrical sense, but trusted presences. Men who knew his rhythms, his habits, his instincts. Men who paid attention when others relaxed. Ali greeted the hosts politely, smiled, shook hands. Nothing felt overtly wrong, but nothing felt fully right either. The table had already been set, drinks poured, food arranged carefully. Ali took his seat, listening as the conversation drifted toward neutral topics. Upcoming events, travel, appearances. Business wrapped in small talk. Ali was relaxed but not disengaged. He never was. Ali understood something most people didn't. That danger rarely announces itself loudly. It arrives when people believe you stopped watching. One of the men with Ali, a longtime associate, noticed the first irregularity. Not dramatic, just out of place. A dish positioned slightly closer to Ali than the others. As if it had been nudged. As if someone wanted to be sure of where it landed. He didn't say anything. Not yet. He watched. Ali reached for his glass then paused. He didn't lift it. He looked at it for a second longer than necessary, then set it back down. No one noticed except the men who knew him. Ali had a habit. When something felt off, he slowed down. The hosts continued speaking. Too smoothly. Their tone never changed. That was another tell. A second man from Ali's circle noticed something else. The server hesitated briefly when approaching Ali's place setting. Just a flicker. A fraction of a second. But hesitation doesn't belong in rehearsed hospitality. Ali smiled. Cracked a light comment. The table laughed. But his hand stayed still. Ali leaned back slightly and let the conversation move. He wasn't hungry anymore. Not because he suspected poison in the way people imagine, but because his instincts had already raised a quiet flag. One of the men beside him shifted. He leaned in slightly and murmured something neutral, a question about the schedule. Ali answered casually. Then he added something only the inner circle would recognize. He said, "We're not in a rush tonight." That phrase wasn't about time. It was about caution. The associate closest to Ali made a decision. Not sudden. Not emotional. Calculated. He reached forward and adjusted one of the plates. Not Ali's. Another dish at the table. He swapped positions casually, as if correcting a mistake. No one objected. No one questioned it. Ali watched without reacting. He trusted his people. That trust had been earned over years. Conversation continued. A toast was suggested. Glasses were raised. Ali lifted his but didn't drink. He let the rim touch his lips, then lowered it again. One of the hosts noticed. Smiled. Too quickly. The associate who had moved the plate now did something even subtler. He took a bite. From the dish that had originally been set closest to Ali. Ali didn't stop him. And that mattered. Because Ali understood hierarchy. He also understood trust. The bite wasn't large. Just enough. The man chewed slowly. Swallowed. Nodded at something being said across the table. Everything seemed normal. For about 30 seconds. Then his face changed. Not dramatically. Not with pain. With confusion. He paused mid-sentence. Put his hand down on the table. Breathed once. Twice. His skin tone shifted slightly. Just enough for trained eyes to catch. Ali noticed immediately. So did the other man with him. The room hadn't yet. Ali leaned forward. Asked a question unrelated to the moment. Kept the energy steady. No sudden movement. No raised voices. The associate tried to stand. Didn't fully succeed. Sat back down instead. That's when Ali's posture changed. Slowly, but unmistakably. Ali placed a hand lightly on the table. He spoke calmly. Asked for water. Asked for space. Not urgently. Authoritatively. The hosts froze. They hadn't planned for this part. The associate began sweating. His breathing quickened. Ali remained composed. He didn't accuse. He didn't panic. He did what Ali always did in moments of danger. He controlled the tempo. Ali stood. Slowly. He placed himself between the associate and the table. Shielding without spectacle. Someone suggested calling for help. Ali nodded. Yes, he said. Now. The restaurant staff scrambled. Phones came out. Chairs moved. The controlled environment collapsed into confusion. Ali stayed focused on his man. He spoke quietly to him. Kept him conscious. Kept him breathing steadily. Ali didn't look at the hosts. Not once. Because by then the truth had already arrived. The associate was conscious. Disoriented. But alive. Emergency services were called. The room emptied partially. Whispers filled the space. No one knew what to say. Ali finally looked up. Met the eyes of one of the hosts. There was no anger there. Only certainty. Ali said one sentence. Low. Clear. This was meant for me. No one denied it. No one confirmed it either. They didn't need to. Ali gathered his people. He didn't wait for explanations. Didn't threaten. Didn't raise his voice. As they left, Ali paused at the doorway. He turned back briefly. Looked at the table. The untouched dish. The empty seat. Ali said nothing else. He didn't need to. Because they had underestimated one thing. Not Ali's strength. Not his fame. But his awareness. They didn't rush out of the restaurant. That was the first thing people noticed later when they tried to retell the story. There was no chaos in Ali's movement. No shouting. No dramatic exit. Just control. Outside, the night air felt colder than it should have. Sirens were already on their way, their sound distant but approaching. Ali helped his associate sit on the curb, keeping him upright, keeping him alert. He spoke to him quietly, steadily, reminding him to breathe, to stay focused. The man nodded weakly. He trusted Ali completely. When the ambulance arrived, Ali stepped back to give the medics room. He answered questions calmly. What had he eaten? What had the man eaten? How long ago? Ali didn't speculate. He didn't accuse. He stuck to facts. That discipline mattered. As the medics worked, Ali stood slightly apart. Hands folded, eyes tracking everything. He noticed who stayed nearby and who drifted away. He noticed which faces avoided his gaze and which tried to hold it. That told him enough. One of the hosts lingered at the restaurant entrance. He didn't approach. Didn't speak. Ali noticed him too. The associate was loaded into the ambulance, conscious but weak. Before the doors closed, Ali leaned in and spoke softly. You did right, he told him. Those words mattered more than reassurance. Ali watched the ambulance pull away. Only then did he exhale. Not relief. Resolution. In the days that followed, the incident stayed quiet. Too quiet. No headlines. No official statements. No dramatic leaks. That silence wasn't accidental. Doctors confirmed what Ali's inner circle had already suspected. The substance was real. Not lethal in the dose ingested, but dangerous. Enough to incapacitate. Enough to send a message. Ali never said the word poison publicly. He didn't need to. The people who mattered already understood what had happened. What made the situation different from the stories people expected was what Ali didn't do afterward. He didn't retaliate. He didn't threaten. He didn't confront anyone directly. That restraint unsettled more people than anger ever could. Ali understood something deeply. When danger fails quietly, it exposes more than when it succeeds loudly. Whoever had planned that dinner had expected chaos or panic. They got neither. They got clarity. Word traveled. Not through gossip but through absence. Invitations stopped coming from certain directions. Intermediaries went silent. Doors that had been half open closed themselves. Ali didn't ask why. He didn't chase explanations. He didn't need to. The response told him everything. His associate recovered fully. That mattered most. Ali visited him once briefly. No nictus. No press. Just gratitude. Ali told him something simple. You saw what they didn't. That sentence became the lesson. Not about danger. About awareness. Ali's inner circle adjusted quietly after that. New routines. New checks. New boundaries. Nothing dramatic. Just smarter. Ali himself changed very little. That was the remarkable part. He didn't become paranoid. He didn't pull back from the world. He simply continued being attentive the same way he always had been. When asked later in an interview about trust, Ali answered in a way that puzzled people. He said trust wasn't blind. It was earned and maintained. He didn't elaborate. Those close to him knew what he meant. Trust didn't mean assuming safety. It meant preparing for reality. The hosts from that night were never publicly accused. They didn't need to be. Public accusation would have required proof, drama, denial. Ali wanted none of that. Instead, he let consequences arrive naturally. And they did. Within months, the people connected to that dinner found themselves quietly excluded from the spaces they valued most. Not banned. Not confronted. Simply removed. Ali's name didn't come up in those conversations. That was the point. Influence that needs to announce itself has already weakened. Ali continued appearing in public, smiling, talking, joking, moving freely. Anyone watching closely could tell nothing had shaken him. That confidence was its own warning. Because everyone who mattered understood one thing. If something that serious could fail so cleanly, without panic, without exposure, then attempting anything further would be pointless. Ali never told the full story. Not to reporters. Not to crowds. Not even to friends who asked. He believed some stories were safest when they remained complete but quiet. Years later, someone from his circle summarized it best. He said Ali didn't survive because he was protected. He survived because he was aware. And because he surrounded himself with people who noticed what others ignored. That night wasn't remembered as an attack. It was remembered as a test. One that failed. They thought Muhammad Ali wouldn't notice. They thought comfort would dull awareness. They thought proximity meant access. They were wrong. Ali noticed. His inner circle noticed first. And because of that, nothing else had to happen. Not event. No spektakel. No skelastion. Just a quiet understanding that some lines, once crossed and exposed, are never crossed again. That was Ali's real defense. Not fists. Not fame. But perception sharpened by discipline. And when danger came to his table, it wasn't Ali who paid the price. It was the plan. Because in the end, they didn't face Muhammad Ali's strength. They faced his awareness. And awareness, once activated, leaves no room for mistakes.